Yeah, I just spoke with Matt Kean prior to coming on air. He's made this decision. I think this is a good decision. It's so important that the government stays focused on delivering on our policy agenda, which is about making sure the New South Wales economy recovers from the impacts of COVID, that we continue to maintain the safety of our citizens. We've got a by-election coming up in the northern part of the state. It's really critical that every single resident in the Upper Hunter knows that we're focused on them. And policy is so much bigger than individual personalities. Now's not the time for distractions, and I think Matt Kean's made the right decision.
So did Malcolm Turnbull threaten that by-election in the Upper Hunter?
I don't think he's threatened the by-election, but I think it's absolutely critical that all the citizens, not just in the electorate of Upper Hunter, but right across New South Wales, know that the New South Wales government is focused on delivering for them. We can't afford to have any distractions as we're recovering from COVID, particularly across Western Sydney and the mid-north coast. We've just seen devastating impacts of flood, which are going to see substantial recovery requirements. That needs to be our focus as well. There's no doubt that the government had been distracted.
So Malcolm Turnbull just serves as a distraction. I mean, he's a former Prime Minister. He's eminently qualified for the role. So I'm just trying to work out why it was a good idea 5 days ago, but not now.
Well, I think what we've seen is a significant response that's not allowed the government to talk about the issues that are at the heart of what we're working on, and that's making life better for our citizens. Matt Kean's made that decision today. I think that's in response to the feedback that the government's had. I think if we make a mistake, we've got to be able to put our hand up and say that we got that one wrong. Well, in this case, I think that's exactly what Minister Kean's doing.
Cabinet thought it was a good idea, didn't it?
Sorry, I just didn't hear that, Laura.
Cabinet thought it was a good idea just last week, and now Matt Kean's overturned that decision.
Yeah, well, Matt does make recommendations to Cabinet. He's made this decision today. I fully support it. I think this is about making sure that the government stays focused on its policy agenda. It stays focused on the citizens of New South Wales. Clearly, what we've seen with lots of media reporting about this position being given to Malcolm Turnbull has distracted the government. It's distracted people from the things that we're focused on.
Is that right? The Nationals are dictating?
No, I don't think that's correct at all. I don't think that's correct at all. I think what is the focus here is that we're putting policy over personality. We're staying focused on the citizens of New South Wales. We've got a clear agenda to recover the New South Wales economy from the devastating impacts of drought into bushfire, into COVID and most recently floods. We don't need to be talking about individuals. We need to be talking about what the New South Wales government is doing for every single citizen across New South Wales.
Malcolm Turnbull is so divisive, even within your party. Why is that?
Oh, I think Malcolm's a big personality. He's spoken passionately about issues that he fundamentally believes in. But I'm not going to criticise any individual, particularly a former Prime Minister. I think across the political divide, any person who becomes the Prime Minister of Australia has made a significant contribution to Australia. There's no doubt that he's been a divisive character, like we've seen many of our Prime Ministers in the recent past being so divisive. I think today's decision is about saying we don't want to be stuck in those divisive conversations. We want to stay focused on the citizens of New South Wales.